Hi everyone. Today's topic is going to be on Algebra 1 review. We're going to spend some time on IXL and a couple different websites reviewing this Algebra 1. We're going to then next week integrate this Algebra 1 into geometry pictures of quadrilaterals and others to finish all the new material from the school year and go from there. So if you notice all these equations here, these are called systems of equations. They have both x and y in the equations. All 5 of the 6 equations have both variables in them. Every system has both variables in them. And there's 2 major methods to solve that we're going to be reviewing. There's a third way to do these with graphing. Graphing works well on problems like the second one, when both of them are in slope-intercept form. Also can go very well when you have a graphing calculator. But we're going to be focusing on solving them through algebra with substitution and elimination. And so what you're going to do with these is substitute on today's lesson. Today and tomorrow we'll be working on substitution. And then Wednesday and Thursday we're going to be working on elimination. So how do we do substitution here? What we do is have different methods for different problems, but the idea is plugging one answer into the other. Here on the first one, we already know y equals 9. We're done with half the problem. What does x have to equal? The only way to do that is to substitute your answer in. We've been doing this all school year. We haven't really looked at it as a system written like this. But the idea that you take one value that you already know and substitute it in is something we've been doing all year. Then having to solve a little bit more, it's come up this year. Not too much, but a decent amount. So on this one we subtract to both sides. You get 2x equals negative 8. Divide by 2, divide by 2. You get x is negative 4. And we are done with the problem, except for perhaps the way you write it. The way you write it is as an ordered pair. Negative 4, 9 is the answer to the question. You can write it separately as just 2 things, like x equals negative 4 and y equals 9, but IXL is going to write these things as an ordered pair. So that's the way we'll do it also. Second type of substitution problem is when they don't give you x or y already, but they give you 2 things that y is equal to. Notice y is equal to x minus 3, y is equal to negative 6x minus 38. Based on a property called the transitive property, if 2 equations are equal to the same thing, then those 2 half of the equations have to be equal to each other. X minus 3 has to equal negative 6x minus 38. So when you see a problem like this, you can just simply start by setting it up and saying, oh, we can set the 2 parts equal to each other. Solve it out like a 3-step equation like you've been doing all year. Please be careful here. X is the same as 1x. So 1x plus 6x is 7x. 7x minus 3 equals 38. 7x equals negative 35. And we divide by 7 to get x equals, careful, negative 5. After you get your answer for that, what you're going to do is choose either one of your equations. It doesn't matter which one you choose. You'll get the same answer if you plug in negative 5 to either one. I'm going to choose the one that looks easier. Y equals x minus 3. Plug in negative 5. Negative 5 minus 3, being careful of my negative numbers, is negative 8. So you write your answer as an ordered pair. Negative 5, negative 8, and you're done. So as you work on stuff with IXL today, that's going to be what you're going to need to focus on the most. That's going to take you to an A grade, all the way up to somewhere in the mid-80s. To be able to get to 100%, you are going to have to work on a slightly harder Algebra 1 topic here of substitution, where as you look at your 2 equations, you don't see x by itself or y by itself just yet. We see x, but we don't see it by itself. Instead, there's a 9y added to it. What you're going to have to do to start is rewrite that equation as x equals, can't combine them. One has a y, one doesn't have a y. They're not like terms. So you have to write it like that. Then let's go back to your first equation. 7x minus 2y equals negative 74. Whoops, sorry about that. 7x minus 2y equals negative 74. Notice on the second one here, I've put a parenthesis. In that parenthesis, you put in what x is equal to. This one here, it's x plus 9y at the top. Take a look where I just put the star on the screen. X plus 9y equals 8. We got x by itself. Because x is by itself, I substitute in place of where the letter x was. If the same thing where it was y by itself, I'd substitute in where the y was. These ones here require you to distribute, multiply the number in front to both things, do my best to keep this on a line. Sorry, it's a little bit messy and off, but there we go. On these problems, you'll always have to combine like terms. Negative 63y minus 2y is negative 65y. Now it has some big numbers, but it's just like the equations we've been doing on the previous two problems now. Sorry, that's a 4, not a 9. Excuse the handwriting. Negative 74 minus 56 is negative 130. That's a 3, excuse me. Divide by negative 65. And we get y equals positive 2. We're halfway done. Actually, far more than halfway done. So these problems are harder. If it's something you're struggling with, absolutely understandable. It is something we're going to take a look at a lot next week as well, at this difficulty level, more than the other two. So please spend your time on these. It should be only have to get 2 or 3 of these right to move to 100%. It can be a little bit challenging. It can be a little bit difficult. If you'd like to check your answers, there's ways to check your answers on the internet. If you're not sure how, email your teacher. They can help you out. But to finish this though, we've only got the answer for y. We still have to get the answer for x. We're going to take that answer and plug it back in right here. X equals negative 9 times 2 plus 8. Excuse my handwriting and having it all the way over there. We get x is negative 10. And then we do have to write our answer. I'll write it up here. And our answer is x is negative 10, y is positive 2, and we've got our answer for this problem here. Sorry this is so messy. You can always rewrite the video, watch the video. You can print this out, copy it down, take it step by step if you need to, organize it in the way that works best for you. You're going to go to IXL level. It's Algebra 1, not geometry. Algebra 1 IXL level U.8. You're going to be going to a score of 90 today. You're going to see just to get to a score in the mid-80s on IXL, which will get you to an A grade, but not a 100% grade. It's going to be just like the first two types of problems. And then to move from an A to 100%, it's going to be like the last problem. So a lot of you might want to, would initially feel like, oh, well, I can get an A and just stop after doing the easy ones. I'm going to stop. Just to warn you, next lesson using substitution after this is going to be all like the third problem. So we're only giving you a couple of problems at that difficulty level, 2 to 3 problems right at that difficulty level to get 100%. But that's what we're spending our time on after that. So doing problems like the third problem is worth your time today. You just don't have to stress about an immediate grade on it. It's worth your time to practice, touch base with teachers if you need any help, and go from there. Hopefully today's an easy day to get your A. You know what you're strong with or weak with if you get your 100% or not, and then you can move on to your next lesson, next class. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.